Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gojo, Sam and Centaur talk about Attack on Titan. This is going to be a double episode, as I explained in the last episode that I uploaded, or last video that I uploaded. That the last episode didn't end, blah blah blah, you know the thing.
Yeah. Spoilers!
Before it starts, spoilers for Attack on Titan seasons 1 through 4. If you complain, suck yourself. That's your problem, not mine.
Can't complain anyway.
You can't complain
Comments are still off! Comments are still off! Yeah, but anyway, right, let's hop straight into it because I actually enjoyed episode 15. I thought it was very information based and Eren is still a G, my dog. Yeah. However, he was a prick. He was a straight prick.
Yeah.
He was being a bit of a prick in that thing. He was being a bit of a waste man. I can't lie.
Yeah.
He didn't have to violate.
It starts off where the last episode ends, and then we'll sat on the table.
Yep.
With Gabby looking scared. All scared.
Gabby was silent. No. She was bricking it. She was silent. She didn't want to talk.
Her eyes were like,
Yeah.
She didn't want to talk. No, nothing. She knew.
Yeah. Basically, Eren says, I've come here to talk. He comes here to talk about what he's doing, but then he starts talking to Mikasa, and basically Mikasa and Armin are like, oh, we wanted to talk to you as well, and we wanted to like convince you to stop what you're doing. And then Eren's like, what do you mean? You don't need to convince me, I'm free.
they start off by saying about you being controlled by Zeke, don't they? Or like saying, oh yeah, we know this is Zeke doing this, like he's manipulating you. And then Eren just turns the fucking tables and goes, you think I'm being controlled? And then just starts
being controlled.
The problem I had with it was he doesn't address any of the things they say. He
deflects
changes
everything.
The topic. When for example Armin says Armin and Mikasa basically say you're being controlled by Zeke, and Eren, instead of saying no I'm not, or you're wrong, or blah blah whatever, he says I am free, and he sort of he makes like an attempt to answer the question, but you can infer from the way he's acting that it's not it's not very like, it's not like him, it's not how he would have done it, and he sort of just.
We'll come back to this. We'll come back to
it. We'll come back to why we're saying this in a minute.
In a second.
He's looking down, his eyes are looking down and stuff. Usually, quickly want to point it out, previous seasons, he looks his adversaries in the eye. He very rarely will look down because he understands, it's a sign of weakness. So he will look his adversaries in the eyes. And the problem with that is, he didn't do it this time. He was looking at the table. He sort of rarely looked up at them. Yeah, carry on what you're saying.
Going on from that, basically, what he was saying, he switched it and basically said an auto reverse card. He started calling Mikasa and Armin like slaves. He called out Mikasa for being a slave and explained the Ackerman power and why she's so strong. And basically, during the time when Eren saved her Ackerman powers activated. Now, Eren states that it activated because she found someone to protect. Now, what me and Gurgen think, the reason why it actually activated her powers is when he said the word Tatakai. He said fight, and survive. And that's what activated her powers. And not just, she needs to save Eren.
It's the reason we think Levi... Yeah, Karen?
Yeah. But basically, he claims that she's basically a slave to him. And yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, but we were saying it's similar to Levi. So Levi's Ackerman powers activated when he was young. So for those of you who haven't watched the OVA, or you should go watch it, because it's a banger. It was good. But basically, Levi was born in the underground of. So there's like a bit under the city, which is like it's like a really poor place. A lot of poor people live there, and they have to pay a lot of money to go to the surface. That's basically the gist of it. We think the reason Levi is so strong is because his Ackerman powers activated in a sense to protect himself. So in a form of self-preservation. That's why he's so good at fighting Titans, and that's why he doesn't care about letting his comrades die. Well, he doesn't care, but it's the reason he allows or is willing to let his comrades die, which we will get onto when near the end of this episode when you see. But is the reason he let his comrades die, and I think that's what it did to Mikasa, is because Eren didn't say help me, he just says fight and like protect yourself.
Yeah. And moving on from that, he also calls out Armin and basically says, he calls him out and says, oh, I've noticed you've been talking to Annie quite a bit, you've been visiting her a lot. And he sort of confirms what me and Gurgent said about how we think the reason why he's visiting Annie is because of Bertolt's memories. And Eren basically confirms it in a sense where he says the reason why you're visiting Annie, the reason why you're feeling this way is because you're controlled by Bertolt. You're a slave to Bertolt. I think it was around roughly the words he used.
He said, if your memories make you who you are, you're like being attracted, you're basically turning into one of our enemies who is attracted to another one of our enemies, because he's letting the point Eren's trying to make is Armin is letting Bertolt's memories manipulate his decisions. So that's the reason why they think that he's going to Armin. But the theory that Sen had, which I will let him talk about.
Okay, so as we saw with this episode, the way, and as Gurgent stated before, the way Eren's acting is not usual. It's not the Eren we know, even from this season and previous season. We knew his personality. He's very brash, he's very assertive. In this season, he's quite stoic, he's quite quiet. And the basic gist of it, he seems like a different person. Now, my theory that I came up with, as we know, with the memory stuff, he inherits memories when it's a trigger. Like with the first time he inherited memories, he saw the key from his basement. The second time was with the photo, well, it was actually with the Historia, but the third time he saw with the photo and got the memories of Marley. Now, my thing is, when Gurgen said, when he went to Yenena, and this was why everyone's like, oh, ever since Yenena talked to him, he's changed. We think that Eren Kruger's memories activated, because obviously Eren Kruger's the predecessor before Grisha. Now with Eren Kruger, the way he acted, and the reason why I highly think this theory is plausible and it's true, the way he acted, he was what we know about. He is Vial. He was also working under Marley as a detective. He basically tricked everyone and deceived everyone, whilst also killing the same people, killing all these Eldians. Now, the reason why I think Eren's inherited Kruger's memories during this time, because the way he's acting, Eren Yeager, he's very reminiscent of how Kruger acted, the way he's very like deadpan, how Kruger was also didn't show any emotion when he killed his fellow Eldian. Eren showed no emotion when he killed the Marleyans, like the Marleyans' children, and even some of the Eldians. He didn't show any emotion, because the way he sees it as the greater group. And I think he's basically adopted a lot of his ideologies and a lot of his philosophies. That's why he's acting in a different way. As well as the fact that a lot of the conversation here, he sort of like alludes to that. He sort of says, like going back to before, he said to Armin, oh, you're controlled by Bertolt's memories. The way it's sort of subtly hinting to Armin, which is another theory. I believe he's basically subtly giving clues to Armin to work out that he's not actually being controlled. He's just acting in a different way because he's inherited new memories. And he's basically subtly telling Armin, oh, use your brain. I'm also this Titan shifter. I've also inherited new memories. Because the way Eren's acting, just in general, it seems like he knows more than he lets on. I mean, the way he's like, he hit, and also the specific dialogue. He was very like mean to Mikasa, which is very, very different to what we've seen in previous seasons. He also like blatantly kicked the shit out of Armin.
Yeah, it's different to his normal personality.
Yeah.
Which the reason we were saying was Armin isn't dumb, right? Armin's arguably, subjectively as smart as Erwin, and Erwin was a fucking genius. Yeah. So I think it's the sort of the reason Erwin said basically, when it was Erwin and Armin, they were both like dying, and out of saving both of them, Erwin stopped Levi from saving Erwin, and he basically said save Armin. So I think even Erwin said, Armin is smarter than himself. So that's sort of why, and that was the theory of why they think Eren is thinking or doing the way he did. Moving on,
and just quickly, I think this also linked into like Raynar and a deep insight into his split personality like disorder that we've come to find about him, and the fact that maybe it isn't the fact that he separated himself due to the fact that he has to actually infiltrate when he had to infiltrate like Eldia. It's the fact that he has some of the personality of the previous Armored Titan in him, and like the fact that sometimes he can be a good like leader, and sometimes he can be obviously a bit of a not a good leader, and the fact that maybe he himself is
we basically theorized that his mind split in two.
One of like an important dialogue back in season 2, I think Connie asked, Bartol, how was Reiner before all of this happened? And Bartol was like, he was more of a warrior back then, and now he's a soldier. But from what we've seen, he didn't act like a soldier or a warrior. He was like in Marley, he was pretty much a pussy. Let's not
let's call a spade a spade.
Like he would constantly shit his pants, and he was very ambitious like Eren, in the sense that he had conviction, he wanted to become the Armored Titan, but he wasn't strong. Like he made fun of Porco, and Porco like literally beat the shit out of him.
Basically.
But yeah, we'll move on from that. So we're gonna move into the Zeke and thingy stuff now, or is there anything else that we missed?
So we were basically, I guess they confirmed it, but so Zeke's spinal fluid was in the wine. Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
It was pretty much confirmed.
Yeah, they did actually confirm it. What's his name? Falco says it. But yeah. It was a pretty short sequence. It was just a good battle. It was a very good battle. So Zeke transforms. So it was what we were saying previously with the trailer. In the trailer, it shows Titans in a forest. Zeke being held by one. Blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
Zeke turns all the warriors into Titans, and I can say with a high degree of certainty that Levi he was there for, he said, 2 months or a month?
Yeah.
And they drank wine, all the wine that they had. I can say with a high degree of certainty.
Wait. Hold on. What do you mean 2 months?
Well, I think he said they were there for a month, right? They said in the forest for a month.
No, I don't think so. Was that said? I thought they were just in there for like a day or two.
No. He says specifically, Levi says, we've been in this forest for a month. There's not a drop left. That's what he said. I think it was a month. He said that we've been in this forest for X amount of months, or a month. There's not a drop of wine left. When Zeke asks if there's more wine, I think that's the cue Zeke was looking for. He basically wanted. He wanted Levi to, he wanted all the wine to be gone so that he could say with a sort of high degree of certainty that all of the people had been infected or whatever. But I assume Levi may have drank the wine, and the reason he's immune to it is because of his Ackerman blood, which is it's not explained, and it will probably be explained later. But that's all I can say for now, I guess.
No, to be fair, I think it's Ackerman blood, but I highly doubt. Yeah. Remember when he was talking about the wine, and we got a mini flashback of them being like, "Oh, can we bring this wine with us?" He was like, "Really?" So I highly doubt he drunk any wine.
He might have.
I know, I
He
think
may
he
have.
did.
He may have.
I think he may have drunk it.
He
but-
may have.
I don't think he's a
but-
complete stickler. I think he does drink sometimes, so he may have had like a
Yeah.
little bit. Consider the fact that Falco had it was Falco, right?
It's Niccolo, but
No,
I was gonna go
Niccolo.
Niccolo.
When Niccolo smashed the bottle over Falco's head,
yeah.
Falco had drank literally one drop,
Yeah.
and he was infected at that point. He was,
Yeah.
he's done out. Because he felt it when, like, later on in the episode, when Zeke actually does the shouting.
Yeah. So
Falco
like,
says,
so a lot of the, not just Falco, but a lot of like Pixies felt it. A lot of the people like
Everyone.
higher ups in the, mainly the MPs, the military police and the garrison. A lot of them felt it, and then some of them like even like I think it was one of the cadets. They said, "Oh, well, I don't feel anything. What are you guys talking about?"
It was the girl, what's her name,
It was-
Petra. She said she didn't feel it. because
Petra's dead.
one of the girls.
Yeah, she
it was-
died in season 1.
Oh, mad. It was one of the girls. It was the girls because she
Yeah.
doesn't drink or something, so she didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So it was entirely
Yeah.
confirmed that it was the wine.
Yeah. And as we saw, basically, it wasn't really a call. It's basically confirmed. They all turned into Titans, and then obviously me and Sam went wrong where we thought Levi would, we were right in some sense, but we'll get onto it later. But
Yeah, we'll get.
we
We'll
thought
get
Levi
that.
would be nerfed by Titans, by him like being basically sympathetic and not killing the Titans, but he did the polar opposite.
I, however,
He-
I knew. I think I said he was gonna kill him
Yeah.
because
Basically,
it lays
Levi.
credence to what we were saying previously with the he was saying to save himself, and he says the line specifically when he's actually fighting Zeke.
Yeah.
He says like, do you really think I've killed a load of my allies before? Basically he's saying,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. Not just that, but he's killed so many of his own people because he's just killed so many Titans. So
Yeah. And he comes to the idea that if he's.
Yes.
hello.
Lads, one sec. Outside the video, is this shocking?
Huh?
Is this horrific? The sound?
No, not really.
No,
it's
that's
fine.
fine, it's
You're a
fine.
bit more. Well, technically you're a bit louder, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sorry, my AirPods died.
That's fine. I'll just,
But yeah,
No, that's fine.
Basically, what was I going to say? I was going to say, oh yeah, the fact that if he stops killing, and if he gave up then, all of like the allies and the people he fought with that died before, all their deaths would mean nothing.
It's sort of what Elwin said in season 3, like when he
Yeah.
got everyone to get on his side. But yeah, basically he fucked up Zeke, and Zeke gets captured. And then moving on,
well, hold on. No, we're not gonna brush over, bro. That fight scene was cold.
yeah, it was sick. It was sick.
This guy,
Well, there's not that much to
Zeke
talk about.
Zeke held straight smoke. Hold on. No, we're not brushing over that. Like, bro, this brother's cutting all the branches and shit. Like he's
Oh
like
my
confusing
God.
him. He's confusing him. Fucking Zeke's looking around like shit. And then he
But-
smokes him with the thunder sticks as well. Dude, he held straight smoke.
This guy, look, I like this fight as much as anyone, but you're the one that said let's keep it concise. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Fight was good.
Fight was good.
Moving on from that,
It
you get to
was.
see Flop.
Yeah.
He basically is on his evil shit, on his like dictator
Yeah.
shit.
I had a theory of my own for that. I think the reason that scene, because let's hear what, right?
Let's talk about the scene first. Let's talk through the scene
Yeah.
first.
So in the scene,
basically, Flock.
okay.
Yeah, Flock marches into where all like the new recruits are basically being trained, and he basically marches in. They're already having doubts. You can't hear some dialogue from like the ones before saying like, "Why are we still learning to fight Titans when there's no Titans left?" And look, like Jaegerists are like like someone says like, "Oh yeah, M. Jaeger should be our leader." So you see they have doubts, and then Flock rolls in with like a group, and he basically says to them, "Come and join us." And he basically
like,
says, "Prove your
to prove your loyalty, fucking beat the shit out of Keith Sades. I think that was his name. Basically, the commander.
Yeah.
And
Most of them do
yeah,
it.
they
Most
did.
of the thing I
They
thought of them do it.
did shout.
But I want to say 3 important things I picked up from that scene. I feel like, right, the thing when that guy says specifically, he says, you know, why are we still learning to fight titans? There are no titans left. I feel like that might lay credence, right? Because Zeke's ability is obviously to summon titans, but Marley has a lot of titan serum, and they might be able to, you know how they in the gas state, right?
Yeah.
They might be able to. They might have found a way to use Zeke's spinal fluid plus maybe whatever else they were doing to turn people into titans. Like rather than using syringes, they may be able to do it more effectively. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I think the whole point is that gas was like false. I think they actually.
I know
have
the
to
gas.
ingest,
The gas is chatting shit basically. But what I'm saying
I
is
think
they
they
may,
actually have to ingest the spinal fluid. I don't think it's just because obviously they need to. So it needs to be in their system. And
if you breathe it in, it's more
Yeah, that's
direct.
what I'm
It
saying.
goes
If you're
into your
breathing
lungs.
Gas, that's technically in your
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
That's in your lungs and straight into your blood.
yeah, true.
But anyway,
Yeah.
that was just a minor thing. The next thing, I think Keith Sadie's was on it with the Jaegerist. He doesn't, because when the guy's talking loud and you can hear and you can see that he sees him, but he doesn't say anything to him because he sort of clocks, yeah, he's right. He basically said, he clocks it, like, he's chatting, he's talking to the kid at the front and he's saying, you know, and he's talking to him, but then he looks back at the guy talking about Jaegerist, and I think he sort of sees that he's right. And that sort of leads into the thing with when they get told to beat the shit out of him. See, if he was sort of like not with it in a sense, I don't think he would have said anything, but I think he sort of, you know, he goaded them on in a way to basically say, you know, save yourselves in a sense, because he said, you know, they'll all be arrested.
Yeah.
He didn't want the recruits to get hurt. He didn't want the recruits to get hurt, and he didn't want them to get like
I think
punished.
basically it was just a masquerade. It was like a masquerade. He was just basically saying, "Oh yeah, fight me, and you'll see what it is." But he purposely he wasn't actually gonna, you know, go all out. He purposely got his ass kicked because he knew Flock was watching.
Yeah, which leads me to my actual theory for this. I think Flock is, in a way, going against Eren's like ideology. Not entirely, but sort of the way he wants to run things. Because Flock is running under a very Iron Fist-esque like power equals, you know, respect. Which Eren's entire thing is, yes, power equals respect, but he had the people on his side. The people wanted to fight for him, versus I think Flock is forcing them in a sense. Because when he said, beat up Sadie's, everybody looked at him like, what?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know this was part of the, you know, I didn't sign up for this. That's basically what they were looking like. And I think Flock is getting a bit power hungry, and he's pushing ideology that maybe Eren might not entirely agree with. Because hear what? Eren at the end of the day was still friends with Sadie's, right? He was still good friends with him in a sense, because he was his commander. He was he was the one who trained him, who trained Eren.
Yeah,
they spent 4 or 5 years together, or 3 or 4, but however long the training takes. So maybe,
I mean,
you know,
not just that, but sort of going on to my theory as well. Like I said, I think Eren's just putting a swift one on everyone, and I think Eren's, like I said, I think Eren's also masquerading in the sense that he's not showing his true intentions. He's basically, like, everyone thinks, oh, he's being manipulated. I'm using large quotation marks. He's being manipulated by Yelena and Zeke. But this also goes into the next episode, which I'll get back on. But he's basically manipulating, like, he's putting a swift one on Zeke and Yelena, and he's going to be like the one who decides it all. But
yeah,
moving on from
the last scene of the episode is we just see Levi dragging Zeke along in like a little contraption that he made, where he can't allow Zeke to move, otherwise he gets blown up. You basically just see him dragged along. And is it this episode that Zeke asks about the glasses?
And when we get onto the next episode, Zeke asks about the glasses, And initially, I guess it makes sense now. You think Titan shifters, they heal they heal to perfect health. Why would he need glasses?
I mean, he never even needed glasses to begin with. He was just So obviously, as we later learn on, but basically, this episode was a whole Zeke flashback. There was a whole Zeke flashback episode.
I rate Zeke more now.
Yeah, like
I think everyone.
we basically got like the main theme of this season is seeing multiple perspectives, seeing multiple sides, seeing multiple points of views.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we got another point of view, and we actually find out what Zeke truly is. Sort of similar to what me and Sam sort of said. We believe that Zeke wanted to free Eldians by killing them, but in fact, he doesn't want to kill the current Eldians. He wants to basically start euthanasia, where we later learn in the episode that the founding Titan can change the biology of Eldians. So Zeke, picked up on that and said, what if we changed the biology of Eldians and make them infertile, make them not be able to reproduce, and thereby ending the lineage of Eldians, and thereby ending, Titans overall.
That was later in the episode.
I know it's later.
We'll start with the very start. The very start is basically it's pretty basically Zeke was doing really bad in his
he's really shocked with it when he was training
with his warrior candidate training. He was doing bad, and we sort of find out that it was Grisha's plan to get Zeke to inherit the Beast Titan and then use it for the Eldian Restoration Alliance or the Allegiance, whatever the fuck they call themselves.
Yeah.
The Restorationists, he wanted to use it for them. And you sort of find out where initially we thought Zeke just snaked out his family, but then you sort of find out it wasn't that he snaked, it was more Grisha's fault, in my opinion at least. Where Grisha,
that was the point.
Grisha was not treating him as a child, he was treating him as a tool. And that's, it fucked with Zeke a lot in the mind, because he's being seen as a means to an end rather than an actual person. But as it extended,
this whole being pushed away that happens with him, it leads him to becoming friends with the Beast Titan before him, which we find out they have nice little games to catch, which a little link to Zeke's throwing ability does the Beast Titan.
Yeah.
But
so it turns out that the Beast Titan isn't even good at throwing. It just Zeke is. Zeke is just good at throwing. I think because Zeke's mother said, you have a special ability, which was most likely his royal blood, is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
So his throwing ability is literally just his own. He's good at throwing, which is interesting.
Yeah. So, have you guys talked about so we think.
I'm pretty.
Yeah.
We think the form of the Beast Titan is going to be a different beast. Is that?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
That Zeke is, because Zeke's kind of a monkey Beast Titan.
Yeah.
But in previous beginning parts of, I think, which one was it? Was it season 2?
Season 2, yeah.
Yeah, we see during the beginning, I forgot the name of it. We see Zeke as the Beast Titan running along, and we see animals like a dinosaur and a whale running alongside him, and they've never mentioned
whales can't run, mate.
It was just it was just all they were just all floating above each other. It's a very weird detail to include in an opening. Unless it's
never been mentioned, and it's never been mentioned either. So.
An interesting dialogue point I've actually just realised. What was his name? I can't remember the previous Beast Titan. They said his name.
Was it Cassava?
Cassava.
Cassava. Call him Mr. Cassava. But an interesting point he makes up, or he brings up, is he says, "My Beast Titan is not very suited for combat."
Yeah.
Zeke's Beast Titan is extremely combat suited, amazingly so. So it's interesting to think that maybe it was a different animal that's not combat based.
And also the fact that it's called a Beast Titan, it's not called the Monkey Titan.
Yeah.
Also, going along with that, like we see Zeke bonding with the previous Beast Titan, like the previous Beast Titan shifter. Basically, Beast Titan shifter noticed that Zeke wasn't doing well, and was like showed some sympathy, and started playing, what was it, baseball? Is that the sport?
He just started playing catch.
Yes, catch. But yeah, and basically, he was talking. Zeke was trying to was bonding with him, and you even see in this episode that when he got off early from school, he sees another dad and another son bonding. The second he comes back from training, he runs back home and he wants to, spend time with his dad. But Grisha was like, "This is the perfect time for you to study."
Learn about the history, oi.
Yeah.
No wonder the fucking kid didn't want to be with you, mate. You're so dead.
Yeah, but going on, it's very ironic in the sense, because even Grisha called it out in season 3. Grisha's dad forced a lot of his ideologies onto Grisha, and Grisha didn't agree with it. And then Grisha sort of did the same way. He forced his ideologies. He sort of saw his son. Instead of a son, he saw an object of he saw him as an opportunity.
Means to an end.
Yeah. And the way he did it, and this obviously caused Zeke to rebel. And as we see later on in the episode, Zeke basically starts telling the previous Beast Titan shifter everything about it. And he also before he tells him, he warns his parents, because he overhears Marleyans talking about how they figured about the restorationists.
They just called them. I think they just called themselves restorationists.
Yeah, and he's basically warned his parents "Oh, mom, dad, you shouldn't go through with this."
And Grisha did not take that very well.
Yeah.
They started screaming at him about
Grisha had a point, but at the same time, he didn't even listen to Zeke's side.
Yeah.
Zeke was obviously trying to
Zeke was right. I think Zeke was more right in my opinion. Not in the sense that he shouldn't have gone through the plan. I think Zeke's idea, he worded it incorrectly. I think he said, "Don't do anything that's dangerous." And I don't think Grisha understood him correctly. I think Zeke was more saying, "You need to be careful.
Yeah.
You need to do things that are safer." Because what they were trying to do was very dangerous, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but what mainly ended is because Zeke was like, "Oh, can't we just live a happy life?" And obviously Grisha doesn't see it. But that was what do you mean happy life? Oh, my whole life.
Have you not been listening to what we've been telling you about how horrible it is for and he basically saying if we stop, then everyone has to live like this. And how
it's very because once again relating it to the real world, you probably see with slavery and stuff, a lot of people would become complacent with it. Just obey the masters, everything will be fine. Don't do anything. Do you want to? If you disobey, you're gonna die. You're gonna suffer a worse fate. So what's the point of disobeying?
Yeah, but and then other people wanted freedom. But
yeah.
So carrying on, after he talks to Zava, and so it turns out it wasn't actually Zeke's plan to rat him out. It was Zava, whatever his name was. It was his plan. Yeah. He said, the only way to save yourself and your grandparents is to rat him out.
Yeah.
And it inadvertently gave Zeke the position he needed to be able to actually get the Beast Titan and go through with the plan that he wanted to, which Zava wanted to go through with initially. In a sense, Zeke proposed the plan later in the episode, just before Zeke is given the Beast Titan. He proposes the plan to him, and Zava sort of tells him how to. So he explains the king's will, and how if Zeke, a man of royal blood, would be given he would get the Founder Titan, he would be overcome by the king's will, and he would be become complacent. So what he explained to him was he requires someone he trusts in order to do it, basically.
Carry out the euthanasia plan, which I explained earlier.
Yeah.
So
What they did in
And
the
then
end was they after got then Zeke gets the Titan, I think, after that part, after the explanation, and then later he talks to Eren.
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, like even Gerda said this, like when you first meet these characters, even it's the same with Ryan as well. Like you're like, oh, Zeke, what a fucking cunt, and then you learn his ideology, even though it's a twisted ideology. It's not necessarily wrong, because the way he because in the world of Attack on Titan, where especially elders, put yourself in the shoes of the elders. They're literally getting fucked from every single way possible, from getting eaten by their own kind, getting oppressed by the whole world, getting fighting each other. They're literally turned against each other. So wouldn't the best way, if Eldia weren't born at all, wouldn't it be better altogether? So it's not, you can actually understand his way of thinking.
Then after all of this, we have quite a jump forward in time, and then we meet when Eren. I think it's when he first meets Zeke, or when he meets Zeke when he started his plan to invade Marley, and we see him talking to him, and Eren comes out with, and we all came to this theory because Eren says to him, Zeke pretty much copies exactly what Zeke believes and what Zeke thinks about the idea of the euthanasia, and Zeke gets quite emotional as he does this. We think that Eren is just using memories of what because obviously he has.
Sorry. Because obviously, since we saw what I suggested, as we see, Eren sees Grisha's memories through his sleep. He sort of sees them as a lens. So maybe Eren picked up on certain things that even Grisha didn't pick up on. How Zeke was being overly emotional, and we see in this episode Zeke was he was crying when both him and his mom were arguing. How he was just he just wanted his dad to pay attention to him, and he never got that. So basically, he's playing on his safe side to get it, and basically saying to him, "Oh, I agree with you. I completely agree with your mindset." But the thing that really got me off was when he said, "There is no better salvation than not being born at all." And once again, linking back to my theory, this is not the Eren we know. Eren literally told us from season 1 the reason why he does everything he does is because he was born into this world. That's why I believe he's putting a fast one on Zeke. And we even see, right here, Zeke gets emotional. And basically, he's basically pulling the strings on Zeke.
He's basically using this to manipulate Zeke.
Yeah.
Alright, we have one final scene, which is we cut back to the present, where Levi is basically dragging along Zeke in his little contraption where he's set to explode if he moves. And we see Zeke pretty much come to he comes to the idea that I don't know what happens. I can't really remember exactly how he does it.
He gets the memories. He remembers the memories, and he just trips out a bit, I think.
Yeah. Well, no. He says he's basically, she knows he's fucked, but he basically calls on a last minute hope. He's like, Kazeva, give me your strength, lend me your strength.
Yeah, save me.
And
he
basically
moves, wiggles around.
To be fair,
and then obviously, as I said right at the start, me and Sam weren't wrong.
weren't necessarily wrong.
It goes boom. Levi is clearly caught
in a bomb.
Near the explosion. He won't be dead, but
he's not gonna. Yeah, he definitely won't be dead, but he will most likely be nerfed. For minimum, he'll be temporarily nerfed. Maximum, he'll probably be permanently nerfed, lost a flipping arm or a leg or something.
Yeah.
Erwin was nerfed because Erwin, although wasn't combat heavy, Erwin was very smart, so the nerf wasn't that much. Erwin still lost an arm.
Yeah, Levi gets caught in an explosion, and we get left on that cliffhanger at the end of the episode.
The cliffhanger where Zeke supposedly blows up. He's probably not dead.
He's probably not dead.
Very unlikely
Probably
he's
done
dead. Consider that Reiner got stabbed in the neck and he survived. So.
And also not just that, Zeke is very much needed for. I guess that's also historian, but Zeke's very much needed for the.
Well, that could be
so
that could be a plot
sense.
point. That could be a plot point. Zeke dies, and Eren has to basically choose between no rumbling or sacrificing Historia.
Nah, I can't see it. We would have got a whole
don't know.
flashback episode. We wouldn't have got a whole flashback episode if Zeke was just going to die.
Okay,
But-
Sen said you know the anime trope. Every single time someone's about to die, they have a flashback episode.
Yeah. But no, I think this is opposite. I think this is the opposite. I agree with Sam in this sense. Like, I believe he's not dead. I don't think he's dead. Because the whole point, especially with the dialogue, Eren's manipulating Zeke, right? It wouldn't make sense. Like, he can't really manipulate his story, but I mean, he can. But
Well,
not to
maybe,
the same
but this episode's droned on long enough.
Yeah.
So then that's it. We were left on that cliffhanger. Yeah.
Also,
Thank you.
final episode comes out next
Final
week.
episode.
Final
yeah.
episode next week. Be ready for that. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know what else to say. So comments are still off. Suck yourselves. You know, drop a like and ting, subscribe, whatever, blah blah blah. Do that thing. Cool. In a bit.